Hey guys, it's me, the Bombay Chef Varun Inamdar, and welcome to Rajshri Food. Today's recipe is a quick, simple, and absolutely easy recipe: मूली के पत्तों की सब्जी. Let's begin. Well, मूली के पत्ते, for the uninitiated, are radish leaves. You get these in two different forms in the market. The first one, of course, has a mooly or a radish in its full grown form, and the other one has these little pieces of radish or little sized radish which has a larger bunch of the leaf set. If I can quickly show you, this is the full grown mooly with the leaves, and this one is the bunch of only leaves with little moolies right here. Now, for this sabzi, categorically, we're supposed to use this bunch because it's a patton ki sabzi, or a vegetable or a dry sabzi made using the leaves. If at all you're looking at making a paratha or a sabzi with the mooli or achar, then you're supposed to use this, but otherwise, this is just perfect. The whole idea is to take like a whole bunch, which is nice and clean, like so, and collect it together. Let's ensure that the roots are all in line and in sequence so that it's easier to just snip it off with a sharp blade or a knife. The whole idea is to club all of these together and snip off the root bit like so. The next step is to chop this nice and fine. Let's collect all of this in a bowl. And similarly, let's start cutting some more. Well, eventually, you also need to understand that all these leafy vegetables, or any leafy green for that matter, would shrink after cooking. To increase the bulk of this recipe, to increase the quantity of this recipe, you can by all means also add in the radish. Now, if you also notice, the leaves are categorically very different. These have slightly prickly leaves, while these of the bunch or the leaf bunch was very smooth, was very even. So that's also one thing to note while making a mooli ki sabzi. Eventually, you can also use these stalks and these leaves, but these have slightly thicker stalk. I'm going to avoid these leaves for now, but I'm going to use 2 whole radishes like so. Peel this with the help of a peeler, of course. What's also important to note here is, whenever you're peeling any fruit or any vegetable for that matter, you always pull it towards yourself so that you're not littering around the entire kitchen. Whatever's happening is all happening right at the cutting board. Let's transfer all of this. And move on to the next step, and that is roughly cutting some onions. Moving on to some green chilies. In this case, not the spicier one, because the ones who know how radish tastes, it already has a little bit of pungency, it already has a slight bit ammoniac taste. To balance that, you need chilies which have very good flavor rather than spice. So here are these light green chilies, which are relatively lesser on spice. Let's cut these roughly. If you literally want to pick and keep the chilies aside, just keep a slit in a chili and put that to use. Well, I'm somebody who loves mashing onto the chilies and eating it. So I am treating the chilies like so. Along with this, tomatoes. Because the whole essence of this recipe is मूली के पत्ते की sabzi with onions and tomatoes. That's the whole punch line or the bottom line of the making of this recipe. And finally now, preparation wise, one more thing, the last thing literally, taking the garlic and crushing it down. Cloves of garlic, as little as more as you please. We're done and ready. Let's move on to the preparation now. For this, of course, we need a wok or a kadhai, and to that I'm going to add in regular vegetable oil. This could be any seed oil. Well, right towards the end, I'm going to show you a little twist in this recipe, which is the twist that we follow in our homes. But I'm going to keep this vegetable or this sabzi or this dry vegetable mix very simple. I'm going to keep it generic, the way everybody would appreciate in all homes. Right towards the end, that little trick has extra virgin coconut oil along with coconut, freshly scraped coconut. But that again is completely optional, but I like it. Let me also tell you that. Allow the oil to heat on high flame. The first ingredient that goes in, cumin seeds. And once these begin to crackle, I'll be adding in onions, chilies, and garlic. Once the onions become translucent, we'll straight add in the radish. In this case, of course, the fruit as well as the leaves. Well, in this case, like I told you before, ensure that the salt is added with extreme caution because the vegetable mix is going to reduce in quantity, and that's where you may goof up with the quantity of salt. Let's mix this well, and while mixing, I'm going to add in another couple of ingredients, beginning with tomatoes. Moving on to salt, again with caution, sugar just to kind of balance the flavor, not too much. You do not want like a sweet tasting vegetable, just to bring out the natural flavor from all the other ingredients. We mix this well and we cover this and cook this for at least 7 minutes on medium flame. At this stage, by any chance, if you are using an iron skillet or an iron pan, you may just wish to add in a few splashes of water and then cover this, because the iron may just burn off the vegetable from the bottom. Because this is non-stick, no water is required. Let's quickly check. Looks amazing, smells wonderful. Let's have a quick mix. Well, the beauty of this vegetable is, even if it is 50% cooked or 50% done, the crunch adds into the beauty of this sukhi sabzi. Choice is completely yours. You want to wilt it down completely or cook it 3/4? Take a call. This goes wonderfully well with classic Indian breads, flat breads, kadhi, khichdi, dal, rice, or let me tell you, just like that. Now, the Mooli Patte ki sabzi is literally done and ready, and this in a lot of ways is more like a universal sabzi. Now coming to my home trick, and that is adding in extra virgin coconut oil. And the moment you add in, off goes the flame. Freshly grated coconut, completely optional. One quick mix, let's serve. Finally, a little more generous sprinkling of freshly grated coconut, only if you wish. With this, Mooli Patte ki sabzi is done and ready. Make this for family, make this for friends, and see how they smile back at you. This is me, the Bombay chef, Varun Inamdar, signing off. Bye for now.